Hello, Magellan Network and Mastermind members. Hope you're doing well. This is Coach Joe Lukacs, and welcome to this very special training on the Magellan Code. Now, if you're watching this, you're coming from a couple different places. Number one, you might be on trial right now, and you're like, well, what's this whole Magellan thing all about? What's this coach program all about? So in this presentation, what I want to do is give you an indoctrination into our code, which is made up of 3 different processes, or if you will, protocols. 3 different protocols. Protocol 1 is our Magellan Core 4, which I'll get into as part of this. Our second protocol is our Magellan Morning 8. And our third protocol is our Magellan Daily 5. So these are 3 protocols that make up the code, right? Now, why did I come up with this code concept? I find that if you think about it, and we'll get into it in the presentation, what is your current code? What is your philosophy for success? What is your philosophy for running your business? What is your philosophy for leading? What is your philosophy for being an advisor? See, now when I ask you those questions, you have to search, right? You have to good question. Not sure, maybe how I feel today. So when you don't operate with a code, you are subject to whims. You are subject to inconsistencies. You are subject to having great weeks, not so great weeks, good years, not so good years, so on and so forth. So what a code allows you to do is to create tremendous amounts of consistency. Also with a code, it allows you to elevate at a much higher level because you're hyper aware. You're hyper aware of what you're doing, where you are. The challenge that most human beings have is they live an unconscious life. We're to think about, we as humans are creatures of patterns and habits, right? You get up a certain way, first thing you do, maybe you go grab this, and maybe this is not the best idea. You go grab your phone, maybe put TV on. You have creatures of habit, right? Well, how do you change a habit? You change the psychology first. How do you change psychology? You adapt something other than the current. And so what I want to do here is really give you what we're all about inside of Magellan. Now, if you think about Magellan, what was Magellan? He was an explorer, right? He wanted to prove what was possible. Magellan, Network and Mastermind, is about what's possible. And I will tell you, being an advisor, you have a tremendous, if you will, foundation to create your ultimate lifestyle, your ultimate business, your ultimate economics, your ultimate destiny. But it does not happen by accident. It happens by design, plan, and brutal execution. So let's get into a little bit of the code. So like I said earlier, all of us have a code. Now, if I ask you right now, hey, write down your code, here's what you're going to do. You're going to write down things that are important to you. You're going to do things. But you think about it, living and working by your code is really about how you evaluate whether you should go execute something. It is about how you evaluate what is important to you. So your current code, even though you might be never written it down, now if you've done our MYOS work, then you have a code. You have values, you have rules, you have beliefs, you have a lot of these elements. But now what I want to do is bring it all together. And by the way, if you haven't done our MYOS workshop, you need to go do it. You can find it inside Magellan Academy. What a code is a set of principles that say, here's how I am going to live. Principles could also be standards. So here are the standards, right? So let's say your personal code is, one of my code is, I always want to be fit and energetic and healthy. If that is your code, I guarantee you look a certain way. If your code is, I want to be comfortable, I want to enjoy, I want to chill, without the first piece, I can tell you what you look like. That's what principles and a code does for you. Like I said, you all have one, we all have one, I've had one, but it was built unconsciously. You didn't sit down and say, okay, I wonder what my core philosophies are. I wonder what my principles are. I wonder what my belief sets are. I wonder what my habits are. I wonder what my protocols are. See, all of us have this. What I'm saying is, instead of that code being built unconsciously, let's go ahead and build it consciously. So what I'm going to do is, inside of this code, Magellan, I'm going to give you a baseline. So for those of you, I'm recording this on a Sunday after we just did Get the Yes. One of the things I always talk about is that, hey, I don't believe in like, hey, my doctrine, right, which is what a code is also, is a doctrine. Hey, my doctrine must be followed to the letter, to the T. I don't believe in that principle. I've never coached that way in over a quarter century. I'm not planning to start it now. With that being said, there is a chassis, a baseline, and that's what I'm going to give to you. You are free to, I give you permission to, I encourage you to modify this so it serves you. I want you to modify this so it serves you, not serves me. Now, with that being said, it doesn't mean you rip the whole thing apart and you don't have standards and you don't do your morning 8. That's not a modification. That's about destroying it. So I'm going to be very clear. Tweaks are fine. Right? Adaptation's fine. Do not blow this up. Okay. So let's talk about the core 4. So the core 4 is our foundation. It's our foundational element. And I'm going to get into each one of these in the upcoming slides. But briefly, let me tell you why I came up with what I came up with. So, and by the way, there's no like, well, this is number 1 and this is number 2 and this is number 3, this is number 4. These are all the core 4. I want you to think about your world as a tabletop and each one of these as a leg, right? So we have our mindset leg, right? So we'll talk about mindset. So is our psychology, right? Then we have our energy leg, which is our mental, physical, and emotional energy. This is a business of energy, right? You've got to have this, and you've got to have a certain mindset, vision, 5 years plan, goals, ideal life and lifestyle, daily game plan, quarterly game plan. Like, what am I looking to produce? Where's my result? Where's my destination? What's my journey? Defining the journey. That's what vision is, both personally and professionally. Rituals, as I said a moment ago, we are creatures of habit, right? We have, how we operate. So we have rituals that serve us, and we have rituals that harm us. You've got to understand it. So these elements are our Magellan core 4. And what you do is you benchmark yourself in each one of these 4 areas, or quadrants, if you will. But let's take a look at each one. So let's take a look at mindset first. So what's made up of mindset? It's our psychology, right? It's what we believe about ourselves, about success, about failure, about people, about everything, right? What else is made up of? Values. What's important to us? Freedom, family, success, abundance, right? And then how do you determine those things, i.e. the rules, right? Think about this, is really out of MYOS, right? Self-image, the man or woman in the mirror. Look, if you look in the mirror and you don't see a successful person, if you don't see somebody that deserves success, if you look at and if you think you're a fraud or an imposter, you will never succeed what you want because you're not giving yourself permission for it, right? Internal dialogue, self-talk. So what are the things you say to yourself? I suck, I'm lucky, I don't deserve, I'm lazy, I'm a fraud. Like whatever it is that you kind of have these habitual self-talk, this habitual internal dialogue, it will, over time, drain you or it builds you up, right? So beliefs, values, rules, right? Self-image, internal dialogue, right? Think about it. Isn't that MYOS? Isn't that the 4 things of MYOS? That's why it's so important. Next, mental diet. So what you put in your brain, how much news, how much bullshit am I putting in my brain versus how many good things am I putting in my brain? It's like physically, right? I mean, if you want to be an athlete, and by the way, we'll get into that in one of these pieces, but it's the same thing. Athletes have to both mentally and physically feed their mind a certain way. You, as an advisor, leader, business coach, business owner, entrepreneur, have to feed your mind a certain way. What else about mindset? Meditate, clearing the mind, spending time with yourself, making sure that we, clear the machine, clear the mechanism. That's why part of our Magellan Morning 8 is what? 5 minutes of meditation. Now, is 5 minutes going to make you an expert in meditation? No. But it gives you a chance to calm your mind and just be. My brain works, and any of you who've been around me know my brain is constantly in motion. Meditation's been one of the hardest things for me to deal with because my brain just wants to go all over the place. And it's been really interesting over the last couple of years for me to get a little bit better and better meditation. I remember when there was a time, and I use Headspace, the app, and there's plenty of other ones if you like. If you want some guided meditation, which is what I would recommend, at least in the beginning, is having that time to really just be with yourself and be with your breathing. And it really does eliminate stress. What else is important? That you have the psychology of prosperity. We're going to talk about that as part of this training, which is different phases, right? From abundance, scarcity to prosperity. And you always want to have, even though you may not physically have it yet, you get the mindset of prosperity. Because here's the reality. A lot of human beings, let's talk about people. Forget the word advisor for a second. Let's talk human being. There's a phrase I learned, act as if. Another way you could say fake it till you make it, I don't like that. I think that makes you insincere. But can you have the psychology of prosperity even though you may not be physically or economically prosperous? Yes. Go to another country. We have traveled, my family have traveled, some of you have been with us. We've done events like to Costa Rica, for example. It's a relatively poor country, I don't want to say third world, but Central America. And you meet people there who don't have a lot of economic anything. They don't have a lot of physical anything. But you talk to them, they're happy. It's been ranked as one of the happiest countries in the world. People think they're prosperous because they have nature. It's not about economics. We see in our society, we think of prosperity as what? Net worth, bank accounts, cash flow. And that's part of our reality. I'm not going to say, hey, dude, that doesn't matter. Of course it matters. That's why you're here. But if you want to be prosperous, act as if you already are prosperous, because here's reality in my world. All of us are masters of our own world. Who determines how much money you make? Who? Who determines that? Is there a rule that says you can only make X amount of dollars? If you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a financial advisor, non-salaried, hey, guess what? You determine that. What else? Practicing gratitude. What is one of our Magellan Morning 8? Act of gratitude. Why? You practice gratitude, you receive gratitude. You practice gratitude, it changes your mindset. Because what do most people do? They walk around worrying about themselves. They may never admit it, but what am I going to do? How am I going to achieve my world, my BS, my issues, my problems, all that stuff, right? Imagine a situation now where, who cares about that? Go up somebody else. Go thank somebody, right? Little handwritten note to somebody. Little text, right? That's why I have you practice gratitude every morning. Next, you're a giver. That in order to get, you must give. So this is not about, well, once somebody does something nice for me, then I'll do something nice for them. No. You do something nice for them. That is part of your code. You're a leader. You lead your team. You have to lead your clients. You have to lead yourself. You're a coach. You've got to coach your clients. You've got to coach your team. You've got to coach yourself. So those are the elements of mindset inside of our Magellan Core 4. Next one, energy. So energy, like I said, this is the business of energy, right? So mental, emotional, and physical energy, right? So here, we're going to talk a lot about like physical energy, being in shape. Now, I'm not saying I need you in Ironman world-class shape. I need you to be healthy, right? I want you to feel healthy. I want you to feel vibrant, right? So yes, I need you to take care of your bodies. And I don't care how old you are. You will find, and I say this as sincerely as possible, I've had clients who literally doubled their business in 2 to 3 years, not because they got a new marketing program, not because they got a CFP or SEMA or CFA or any of those other things. You know what they did? They hired a nutritionist, they hired a personal trainer, and they got their ass to the gym, and they lost 50 pounds. And they literally grew their business by 20 to 30% year over year for a period of time. And they still grow to this day. But they will tell you what was the trigger when they understood that when they took care of themselves, their business started to thrive. See, what a lot of people do in this business, they get into what I call busy mode, and they use it as an excuse. Oh man, I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to get to the gym. I'm lucky I grab a number 3 Happy Meal or whatever the hell's going on because I'm just so busy. Bullshit you are. Most guys and gals waste half their day anyway. This is a story you tell yourself because, quite frankly, you don't want to put the work in. You're lazy. You don't want to get uncomfortable. Being fit requires a discipline of being uncomfortable. So it's about our health. It's about image, right? So image, how we look, right? That's important. Power. Now, why would I put power in there? Because when you walk into a room with a client or prospect, look, it matters, right? And if you have energy, your body's going to be a certain way. Your vibe is going to be a certain way. It's going to give you a competitive advantage versus other people. You also need to look at yourself as an athlete. And because think about this, and I did probably 15 years ago, I think it was for Horse's Mouth, as a matter of fact. I did a webinar on I think it was called The Advisor versus the Athlete or something like that. And what I did is I drew distinctions on advisors and athletes. And I said, okay, so, how you compensate it. Some athletes get guaranteed contracts. We don't even get that, right? Then I went through like a list of protocols. And what I was looking to do at the time was I wanted advisors to adapt the concept, hey, I'm an athlete. I got to take care of myself. I got to have my trainer, right? Your coach, your nutritionist. Like I got to put a team around me so that I can go ahead and be at my best. And I want you to think of energy as a weapon. And a weapon is not a negative sense. It's it's a weapon that you can deploy. Because we are at war. There's a battle. And some of you that were in the program, Friday, what do I talk about? People are going to try to persuade you why they don't want to do something, and you've got to persuade them why they do, right? That push-pull, right? That we talked about. And so I need you to be fully armed, not just being intellectually intelligent. I need you to be emotionally intelligent with a ton of energy so that you're willing to dig in there. How many times, think about this, how many times have you gone into a meeting? It could have been a review meeting with a client. It could have been a phone call with a client. It could have been whatever. And you just physically didn't feel like being there. Oh, man, I'm tired. Oh, I was up late last night. Oh, man, I had a couple drinks during Monday Night Football. Whatever it is, right? And then, you know in your gut, you're not at your best. And what do? You go through the motions. What else? Longevity. So in our game, right, here's the good news. We're not airline pilots who have to retire at a certain age. We're not professional athletes that our bodies at some point just say, hey, you know what, you cannot compete that way anymore. Our game is here in the mind, but it's housed in this body, right? So you've got to take care of the body. That way you can have a long career. You want to be like the Tom Brady, if you will, of financial advisors, right? Like be like the unicorn. Operate at a high level with a lot of vibrancy into your 70s, into your 80s, right? Because why retire? So that's part of our energy game. You've got to adapt it. Let's go on to one of the next cores. So vision. Let's talk about it. So vision, to me, where we really manifest vision is in our in our Magellan strategic planning system. We do it every year in November in Florida. 3-day event, powerful. A lot of you come. All of you need to be there. It's really about coming up with an ideal vision strategically, but then breaking it down to a 5-year chunk, then breaking it down into a 1-year chunk, then breaking it down into a 90-day little mini plans, if you will, like little 2 or 3 page mini plans. Why do we do that? number one, you get it in writing, but the other thing, it allows you to think a little bit long term about legacy. See, one of the things about prosperity, and we'll talk about that here, is that I need you to think, a duality, if you will. And the duality is that I need you to operate very tactically, like what am I going to do today, next 24 hours, but I need you to have this strategic vision. It's interesting because, I find advisors fall into two separate pieces. Some of you can really kind of get down tactically. Here's what I got to do today, this month, this quarter, this year. Hey, where do you want to be in 10 years? You got no clue. Like, you can't even see that far. And a lot of times because you're in such survival mode that this is all you see. And then others of you can paint great pictures like 20 years and 10 years now with this grid. You have no clue what to do tomorrow. Like, what do I do tomorrow, right? And then, there's always a blend, obviously. But what this boils down to is this. You've got to have vision. You got to be able, if I said to you right now, write down a paragraph. And I want you in bullet point, you can do a narrative or bullet point, it wouldn't matter to me. I said, I want you to tell me what you want to create for yourself over the next 10, 20 years. Could you really do that? And I think some of you could, I think some of you could not. So part of our core 4 is coming up with this vision. Oh, by the way, if you lead a team, you must give your team vision. Otherwise, if you don't give them vision, what are they? It's about the paycheck. It becomes about just making some money, doing a good job. You want stakeholders. You want people to buy in. But what are they buying into if there's no vision? Your vision comes into two pieces, a personal vision for yourself and your family, and then a business vision. So what you want to accomplish, we talk about bucket lists, experiences, things like that. And then business, hey, what do you want to build? How much cash flow, net worth, all those things become part of our vision. And we get that down in writing and you commit to it. Some other tools we use, this year we'll talk about a vision board in strategic planning. I'm a big believer in vision boards. I have one that's actually an Evernote that I use, and I update it on a regular basis. And basically for me, it's about, okay, my annual plan, my 90-day plan, and then what I'm going to do today. If you think about it, when we do business planning inside a network, inside of Magellan, we do what? Ideal life and lifestyle, 5-year strategic plan, 1-year plan, quarterly game plan, daily game plan, right? Or module 9, if you will, right? You got to have that tactical vision of what I want to get accomplished today, and you need to have your strategic vision about what I want to do big time. You need to develop both muscles. Next, rituals. Remember I said we are creatures of habit, right? We are creatures of habit. So what I have here, and I just want you to think about this for a second. So we have our MM8, our Magellan Morning 8, our 8-step protocol, which we will get to as part of this program. Now, I have 4% there. Now, 4% represents 1 hour of a 24-hour window. So think about this, approximately 4%. And that's 60 minutes. If there are 24 hours in a day, what I'm asking you to do is invest 4%. Actually less, if you think about it, I'm going to give you a full hour here. I want you to take 4% and make it a ritual for yourself. Your Magellan Morning 8. And if you need to skinny it, you get it down to what? 2%. If you cannot give yourself 30 to 60 minutes in the morning, then I would ask you to change how you're running your life. Now, if you've got small children, then you handle the family first, then you, then office, right? Family first, then you, then office. Not family first, office, I don't get to me. That is survival. It is not protocol. What's the next thing we do? We journal. Why do we journal? Because it gives us the opportunity to record our rituals. It gives us an opportunity to sit down and have that conversation with yourself and say, hey, what am I doing? What am I not doing? What else? We get to sleep. Now, why is sleep a ritual? Hey, every study I've seen recently, we suck at sleeping. We suck at rest. You know why? We get these things on all the time. One of the protocols that I use now, one of the rituals that I use now, at 10 o'clock at night, my phone automatically goes into sleep mode. No more ding dings, buzz buzz, rings rings, anything, and it stays that way till 5:15. Why? Because I want to have a place where I can rest. Okay? So for some of you who are up way too late, you eat wrong at night, and you're sabotaging yourself, this is a ritual. A lot of people, it's interesting, when we talk about the morning ritual or morning eight, a lot of times your morning ritual is going to be determining what you do the 2 hours before you go to bed. What are you consuming? What are you watching? Where's your mind? So on. Okay? What else is ritual? Ritual, organization. Now, organizational means two things. Physically organized, right? So otherwise your office doesn't look like a bomb hit it. But also mentally organized, where you absolutely know what you're about, right? Like you have everything, your goals, you've got it all figured out. You're never like running like your hair's on fire. You always feel a sense of control. Gratitude, we spoke about that earlier. So we always want to make sure that we're always practicing gratitude with others. Little things, a great example. I got up early today because I wanted to shoot this. I'm shooting this on a Sunday. And so I got up, I did a little bit of my morning ritual. Then I said, you know what, I'm just going to jump in the car, go to Starbucks, get a latte. I'll sit in Starbucks and I'll finish my ritual. And I got there, it was really early on a Sunday, so it's pretty empty. And, one of the gals kind of helped me, got my order, stuff like that. And I always put $1 in the jar because I believe in abundance. I believe in gratitude. And she was so appreciative. And it wasn't just because of the dollar, but the way I put the dollar. I smiled, hey, thank you very much. Thank you for doing a great job. And, that little piece made me feel good. It's weird, I know, but it does. So I'm not saying you're going to walk around and hand money out to everybody. What I'm saying is say thank you, or hey, that was a great job, or I really appreciate it, or whatever it happens to be. Learn the art and science and belief of gratitude. Next, investing in you. So I had this rule. I said take 5% of your gross or 10% of your net, and I'm just going to make it 10%. So, whether that's of net income, you want to take it off the top, however you want to do it, come up with a number, and then I need you to spend it. I need you to invest. So I want you to go get the best coaches, the best personal trainers, attend the best the best conferences. I want you to do those things. This year, this being 2019, I have invested more in myself than I have probably in a couple of years. I mean, I really stretched my budget this year. And I've had the biggest growth I've had, and I've got a very mature business. So guess what? The more you invest in you, the faster the growth. The more you invest in you, the quicker the progress. The more you invest in you, the higher the mountain. So keep that in mind. Some of you have such a scarcity psychology around you that you sit there and say, and so if somebody says to me, well, Joe, I can go get a marketing program or I can go get a coaching program. I only have so many dollars. What should I do? I'm going to sound biased, I know. The coaching program. Why? Because the marketing program is going to get you in front of people, but if you're not at your best, you're going to blow it, right? Or you're going to play with this and not be committed. That's another thing, right? So you want to make sure that every year, when we do our personal development budgets or personal development game plans, that you're very clear on areas that you need. Maybe some of you need public speaking training. Maybe some of you need organization. Maybe personal trainer wouldn't be a bad idea, right? Personal training gym. Nutritionist may not be a bad idea. All those things, remember, you're the core product. So if you want to go ahead and get a personal trainer and go get a nutritionist and like an athlete, right? Build a team around you, right? Do that. Do that. Next ritual, consumption, physically and mentally. What you put in your body, what do you put in your mind? These are rituals, right? The most powerful unconscious ritual. How many of you have sat in front of a TV with your favorite snack food and promised yourself that you only eat a little bit of it, and 20 minutes later, the bag or the box, whatever, is gone, and you don't remember eating it? See, that's how powerful these behaviors, these habits, these rituals are. So what I need you to do is be conscious and cognizant of what you're doing, how you're doing it, and how often you're doing it. Rituals all about physical and mental. So what are your physical rituals? Do you walk? Do you exercise? Do you take care of your body? Do you stretch? Like, what do you do for you? And then mentally, do you journal? Do you consume personal development or inspirational material? What do you do around those things? All those things matter. So that is the core four, right? Vision, rituals, right? Mindset, energy. Vision, rituals, mindset, energy. These are the four standards you must do. This is what we teach. What I teach. It's my code. It's our code. This is what has to happen. It's our core four. Now, let's talk about growth for a second. So, part of our other philosophy here is there are three phases of growth. And by the way, it doesn't matter. This is, take the word advisor out of the conversation for a second. Human beings, okay? So I'll equate this to our world. You get into business. Some of you got into business weeks ago. Some of you got into business months ago. Some of you got into this business years ago. Some of you got into this business decades ago. But guess where we all start? At the bottom. Scarcity. Barely, you know what? I got to make some money. I got to pay my bills. And then you have this conversation with yourself, man. If I can just gross $10,000 a month, man, I am there. Like my world, man, just 10,000, man. I just gotta. When I get $100,000 going, I'm good. And then you get there, and guess what happens? Oh, the lifestyle kind of caught up on us. 100. Now it's not 10,000. Man, if I just get the 20,000, right? So after a period of years, you get to a place called abundance. And abundance is where you got a fee-based revenue. You've got a good game. You're making money, you're saving some money, you're not stressing over the month to month anymore. Now we kind of think quarterly or year out, stuff like that. We feel like we have momentum and it's good. And what most people think is that is the goal. I thought that was the goal for years, for decades, as a matter of fact. I used to tell my clients, abundance is the goal. When you're abundant, you're good, you're set, period. I no longer believe that. I believe the new goal, the new target, new phase of growth is prosperity. And I just put 10x there. It doesn't have to be 10x. But the bottom line is this. You're at a place, not just economically, but mentally also, where you're out there just adding value to other human beings. You're out there impacting others. It's about foundations. It's about legacy. It's about gifting. It's about now, mentoring. It's a whole nother animal. It's a whole nother game. See, most people settle for the abundance game. Like, but you know what? That's what I want, man. If I can make $30,000 a month, save some money, make sure my kids go to college, live in a nice house, drive the Mercedes, take a couple of trips a year, I'm good. I don't want more than that. And you know what? And that's your game. It's not a bad game, but I'm telling you right now, you're going to look back at your life and realize that you squandered a lot. One of my biggest fears, and for some of you who've been around me for a period of time, many years, in fact, one of my biggest fears, I call it the rocking chair test. And the way the rocking chair test works for me is I envision myself sitting back in my 80s or 90s, and I'm looking back at my life, and I'm having this, I did okay. But imagine what would have happened if I really focused and applied myself. And that scares me. As I say it scares me. Here. Like I feel it, I get a knot in the pit of my stomach just thinking about that. So for me, where a lot of people, after 25 years of doing something, really are, kind of figuring out how to wind it down, I'm doubling down. I commit to a lot of you, I'm going to be around for another 25 years as a coach. So in my mind, I'm at halftime. And so the second half of my game is all about prosperity. The second half for me is about massive abundance. The second half for me is all about legacy. That's what gets me up in the morning. See, when you get up in the morning in scarcity, you get up with what? Fear. I got to go make money today. When you wake up in abundance, what do you think about? How to keep it going, right? How do I keep the wheels turning? When you wake up in prosperity, you wake up and you go, who am I going to impact today? It's 3 different questions with 3 different situations. So inside of Magellan, our standard, our goal, our core protocol is this is a prosperity-based program. Yes, I will teach you and train you and coach you how to make more money. But we don't stop there. I will train you, teach you, and coach you how to become prosperous, to push you in a place that very few people get to. That is our game inside of Network. Now, let's talk about the different business and life conditions, because there are several things. There's 3 of them basically, and we alluded to them earlier, but I do want to cover them, so let's kind of chat around them. All right, so first one, right? Contraction. So in other words, I'm shrinking. My economics are shrinking. My business is shrinking. Things like that. So what's that about? So I'm in lack. I'm in scarcity. I'm uncomfortable, right? So when you're there, when excuse my language, the shit's hitting the fan economically, what do most people go? They go into attack mode and they go into must mode, which is I must ask for referrals. I must follow up on people. I must get organized. I must get my shit together. They go into must mode. Okay? Now, that's triggered because of what? We're shrinking. We're contracting, right? Where the balloon is deflating. We're not in growth mode. We're in survival mode, right? We're in scarcity mode. We're in lack mode. And by the way, and I don't want you to think about just this business for a second. I want you to think about just human beings. When somebody has what I call contraction psychology or contraction reality, they are in survival mode. And what's happened is the longer you stay there, the more you think that's normal. The more you think that's normal, the more you scarce you get. And then all of a sudden you almost like give up. So that's why I always say, I don't care if you've been in business 30 years, 35 years. I don't care if you have more than enough money. I don't care if you have more than enough money and you don't want to grow, then please retire. I've got clients in their 70s who are growing their businesses. Why? They don't want to contract. It will freak them out to have a down year. Remember, it's also uncomfortable. Number 2, this to me, believe it or not, this is the most dangerous one, status quo. So see, if I'm shrinking, I know for most of you what you're going to do, you're going to go, shit, and I got to get my shit together, right? I'm going to go take action, right? Comfort zone or status quo, to me, is the most challenging because it's false abundance. Business is good. Life's good. We're comfortable. We're sustainable. It's good enough. And and that's what I'm saying, that for a lot of advisors, they think that's the goal. Oh, I just want to be comfortable. I just, Joe, hey, dude, what's your goal? I just want to get comfortable. I said, dude, that's a bad goal. Because as soon as you're uncomfortable, guess what? You'll slip. That's why I use the word false abundance. It's false. Just because you had a good quarter, or you paid off some debt, or you had a good year, or now, the kids are out of school, college is paid off, and now we're into a different place, and I'm doing good. I was guilty of this. For years, I've been in a very comfort zone. My brain was like, man, if I can just maintain what I'm doing and just kind of keep going, I'm good. And the problem is that it gets boring. Remember something, we as human beings are at our best when we're on a quest. When we're after something. Life is exciting, it's challenging, it's a little uncomfortable, there's a vibe to it, but you're going after something. It's scary, but exciting at the same time. If you're waking up in the morning with the goals to get through the day and then be done, you're just trying to hang. And that's okay. You don't want to be part of this is not the group to be a part of that. Go find the group that wants that. This is not the sustainable group. This is not the comfort group. This is not the good enough group. This is the group. Expansion. Magellan Network is all about expansion. I am all about expansion. I am all about being uncomfortable, being prosperous, right? Helping others. This is my game. See, what I had to do when I hit my 25th year, this has been going on for a couple of years now. I started to ask, what's next? What's my next evolution? What's my next point? And I remember telling myself, I said, look, if my whole thing for the next, to do this for 50 years, it can't be to just do it at a good level, good enough. To me, it'd be like a coach. So let's just take football coaches because it's football season here. If you had a coach and they said, look, as long as we have a winning record, that's good enough. So, we go 9-7, 10-6, it's good enough. You go, man, why do we want to follow that guy, right? I mean, that's not the goal. What's our goal? Our goal is championships. So my game is about championships every day. Being uncomfortable, being prosperous, helping others. That's where these are the three business life conditions: contraction, status quo, expansion. Ask yourself right now, as you're watching this video, where are you? And I want you to think about it like a spectrum. It's not like check this box, check that box, check that box. Think of it like a spectrum, right? Are you in contraction, looking to get the status quo? Are you in status quo, backsliding into contraction? Are you in status quo, now looking to go into expansion? Like, where are you? See, for me, I'm in the expansion box. I'm highly uncomfortable. I've said that on a lot of our morning videos, right? Why? Because I'm pushing. And yeah, it's scary, but it's also damn exciting at the same time. So just remember where you are in this spectrum. Now, like I said, we expand, we contract. The universe is never static. Nature is not about stasis, which is here. We are always moving. So you either are in expansion mode, like I said, so I'm asking you which way you are, or you're contracting. There is no there. So, oh man, I just got to get to this thing and then my life works. No, it does not. Because as soon as you say you're there, and how many of you have done this, by the way? Think about this. You had a goal. Let's just take business goal for a second. I wanted to produce X. Maybe that was an annual goal. Maybe that was a quarterly goal. Maybe that was a monthly goal. But now I'm gonna go after this, and you go after it, and lo and behold, you get it. So you're now in status quo. You expanded for a while. Think about this. You expanded for a while, right? You got super uncomfortable. You went for it. You got stuff happening, right? I'm here. And you stopped. What happens? You fall right back into what? You contract. Maybe you only contract into status quo. Maybe you start becoming uncomfortable again. Life is not static. Business is not static. You cannot be static. There's no such thing as a status quo. If that is your goal, eliminate it. It is crushing you. Okay? Now, let's talk about, so here's a little diagram, if you will. I'm going to try to walk you guys through this a little bit. Let me see if I can get my mouse around here so we can see it. Okay, so I want you to think this way. So here's what happens. I'm in scarcity, right? I don't have enough money. I don't have enough success. I'm contracting. I'm uncomfortable, right? My bank account makes me uncomfortable. So what happens? I get my ass in gear. I do my 4%, right? Which is basically my morning ritual. I get things become a must in my world. Like I must get up in the morning. I must do my morning 8. I must do my daily 5. I must ask for referrals. I must optimize, right? I must go after it. That is very painful. Because now I got to change my behavior, but I got to commit to it. So there's pain, right? Remember, there's the pain of failure and the pain of success. Either way, there's pain. Which one do you want? Do you want the pain and the zero bank account, or do you want the pain and the big bank account? Either way, this 4-letter word is part of the equation. You just have to decide which way it's going to deploy. So again, we start here. I need more. get my act together. Here's what I'm going to do. Boom. After a period of time, some of you could be months, some of you could be years, right? We get to the point where we go, oh, okay. Oh man, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable. I've made it. My bank account's good. I've made it. Okay, now what? I can relax now. I'm comfortable. Uh-oh, here comes the drift. Man, I really should get up in the morning and do my morning ritual. I was up late last night watching football game, so instead of getting up at 5:30 in the morning, I hit the snooze button. The next thing I know, it's 7 o'clock, and I'm just gonna get up and go to the office. I'd like to make more money. I like to make more money. I like to be more successful. It's okay. I'm doing well. It's okay. I'm doing well. I'm okay. I'm okay, right? You're bored to death. What happens? Sometime in the future, we're back here. I contract it. Shit, I'm uncomfortable again. What happened? I got to get committed again. Let's get back to the morning 8. Let's make things a must. Got to get back in. Got to get sore, right? Got to commit, right? Some of you, this is your entire career in these 4 areas, right? Scarcity, let's kick it up. I've made it. No, you haven't, by the way. Oh, he's right. I didn't make it. It was like a false flag. Now I'm back here again, rinse and repeat. Some of you have run this 4-part protocol your entire career, and it's time to break it. Here is the trigger and the pivot. So what is it? So when you're here, which is where I was, I felt like I was going back. No. What was my trigger? I changed some things in my life. I changed a coach. I got a different coach. I did some things differently, and I got a pivot. I got a new set of whys, a new set of musts. I made it compelling for myself. I made it about others, not myself, right? Because if you make it just about you, it sounds what? Greedy. Most of human beings don't look at themselves as greedy. So now we pivot up here, right? So where are we now? We're in expansion, prosperity, legacy. What's that word? Uncomfortable. Where have we seen that? Here. You see that? You see that? They're both here. See, a lot of you think that this is a bad thing, being uncomfortable. It's a good thing for the right reason. So let me do this again for you all. It's really important. We start here, scarcity. I don't care if you're one, you could be in scarcity after 25 years in this business. So scarcity does not have a timeline associated to it. In my career, I felt scarcity. I kick it in the butt. I go, get committed, must, make it happen. I feel better now. Bank account's better. Feeling good about things. Health is better. I'm comfortable. Not a good word. I can relax now. Drift back. Pull back, right? What's the must become? A should. The commitment is a like. What happens? Over time, we drift into this. So, what are the triggers? I remember I said to you, there's triggers. So, what are some triggers? So, for me, I woke up and over time, I've been really, maybe because I'm in my mid-50s now, and I've been at this game now for a quarter century. I woke up and I said, there has to be more, and I've got to find a way. And so I really started just asking myself, what was I going to be all about? I just celebrated this past February my 25th anniversary, and maybe because that's like that kind of number, and I also celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary. It's kind of interesting. I kind of look back at it. It's been a very interesting year for me, and I said, I can exist here, and I know I'm pretty good about not drifting too far, so I can probably hang for a while. But here's my problem with that: I get bored. It's boring, right? So I said, what would happen if I just blew it up? And I literally started to blow up. And when I say blow up, so let me explain what blow up means to me. So every couple of years, and some of you have been around me, some of you are my personal clients, you know this. I will go ahead and I will look at my life and I will take it apart. I'll take my business apart, what I like, what I don't like. Magellan Network, which we started last year, was one of those little blow up moments where I said, okay, this is good, but I want to add more value. How do I do it? How do I reach more advisors in a cost-effective? How do I give a better value proposition for everybody, right? Because I just can't work. I can't work with 1,000 advisors personally, obviously. So Magellan Network, this group, was a byproduct of the pivot, the trigger. Others. How do I help others? You, right? And so when I made this pivot, which is very uncomfortable, by the way, you end up here, which is where you're always going to stay uncomfortable. So you get a trigger. And so this is, to me, the danger place, the status quo. And this, so if you're in a status quo mode, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. You need to challenge yourself. Like, you know what? I don't care if you don't need the money. I don't care if you live like a below. Look, I got clients that live well below their means. Like they can reduce their income by 50% and it wouldn't matter, right? So you got to find some drivers. And I'm not saying like maybe you need another car or a second home or a private jet or anything crazy like that. Although for somebody that may be your driver, and that's fine too. You need to find something that will do this for you, compelling. See, for me, I woke up one day and I said, you know, okay, what is my mission now? Because I'm here. And what I made my mission, to me, is a drive about legacy. Charitable giving, things I want to do for my family, things I want to do for this industry. You know, I really, truly believe that Magellan Network will live on beyond me. That one of you, maybe one of my children, maybe that person hasn't even identified themselves to me yet. But this group will continue on. My work, who knows by then, 5,000 YouTube videos by then, maybe some hologram videos, who knows? Like my work will live on in this industry. I will make sure of that. And what's really cool for me is I get to touch a lot of lives. And I like that. You know, and and if I sound a little weirdly emotional, because I am getting a little weirdly emotional, when I'm able to help you guys get what you want, and I hear how it affects your family in a positive way, and how you give back to charities, and you give of your time, and you help others, and I know I had a small part in that. And I take that small part, times it by 100, by 1,000, by 2,000. And, you know, I've had directly and indirectly a massive positive impact. And that wakes me up in the morning and that keeps me going. Think about what you've done for your clients. Think about the impact that you've had helping. What do you do for your clients? You put a plan together, you give them certainty, right? You keep them in the game. Hopefully you encourage them to give back. Just think about the power as an industry we have to do good. The power that we have. And that was my pivot. That became my compelling reason. That became my why. And then that became my must. Because if I wanted to be comfortable, you know what I would do? I would go to every one of you here, every one of my clients. So here's the deal: I'm going to semi-retire. I want to be comfortable now. I don't want to grind anymore. I'm done. So here's the offer. I'd love to keep you as a client. I'm only going to take 25 clients from this point on. Here's my fees for being one of the 25, and it's like a contest. First 25 in to pay me this amount of money every month. You're in, and we'll work, and I'll cut my schedule down by 75%. And I'll have a great working retirement. And I can do that today and be okay with it economically. But then what happens? I will get bored. So now I'm back here. All right. So I want you remember this diagram. Where are you on these four? Are you here? Are you here? Are you here? Are you here? If you're here, don't wait to get here. Come back and go. All right, this is critical. All right, going forward. Now, I do want to talk about our protocol. So let's talk about our morning protocol, our Magellan Morning 8. Right, there are 8 things we need to do. And by the way, there's no particular order here because I know some of you get caught up in the order. Right, There's no order. So first thing I want you to do, again, I said first thing. Well, first thing on the board here. This is just what I do. So I visualize my success in two different ways. I have a strategic visualization that I do, like my bigger picture stuff, right? And then it's like what am I doing today? Like today, okay, today's Sunday. I got up, actually 5:30ish or so. I woke, right? Laid in bed for a while. And so I visualized my big game, right? But then I visualized coming in my office this morning on a Sunday and giving you a lot of information, like really leaving an impact on you guys today doing this presentation, right? Next thing you do is you do your power questions, statements, and declarations. So what's a power question? It's a question. What has to happen for me to be successful today? Example. It's a question. Right? What must I do today to feel good about today? That's a question. Right? Right? Why do I deserve success? That's a question. Why do I deserve to have it all? That's a question. By the way, why do I deserve to have it all? It's a question I ask myself every morning. Statement. I'm going to have a great day today. Statement. I'm going to be uncomfortable today. Statement. I'm going to give my all today in this presentation. Now, statement and declaration, they're really almost the same thing. The only reason I give it a differential, declarations to me, you can talk about things, but when you declare them, they have more meaning, right? So if you declare, I am done being X, I declare that I'm going to be uncomfortable today. I declare I'm going to go kick some ass today. I declare I'm going to ask for 5 referrals today. I declare. So I like the word declare because like you declare war, right? Declarations. So whether you want to use statements or you want to use declarations, that's up to you, right? Or questions. Do you have to use all three? No. Can I use just one? Yeah, if that works for you. I would say to you, though, that I would use 2. If I'm going to use 2, I'm going to use questions because I think we need to ask better questions. But then I want you to make declarations. And if statements are okay, that's okay too, right? Next thing you're going to do is you're going to review your business plan, quarterly game plan. So if you don't have our business plan built out yet, if you don't have your quarterly game plan, come up with a 1-page list of personal and business goals. 1 page. Handwrite, type it out, whatever you want to do, right? And then make that what you read every morning. You're going to then review or create your Magellan Daily 5. So when I say review or create, some of you will create your daily game plan for the next day, the night before, or the last thing before you close your business out. And then you're reviewing it, or some of you may get up in the morning and say, okay, what am I going to do today? Fine. I don't have a preference other than this. Your daily game plan, your 5, better be locked down before you hit that office. I don't care if it's a home office, you go to the 40th floor somewhere. I do not care. This has got to get locked down. Next, you're going to meditate. You're going to meditate for 5 minutes. You see that couch back there, right here? I sit there in the morning with a coffee right there. I close my eyes, put my hands on my thighs, put my Headspace app on, listen to this little, I think he's Australian or British, whatever he is, and I go through a process for about 5 minutes. Okay, that's what I do. I will journal. Some of you hate journaling. So let me kind of give you a little pivot on this. I will journal. Now I use Evernote for that. I will also dictate. So here's something you all can think about. If you have like Copy Talk or Mobile Assistant or even Siri, voice to text, right? I want to text myself. You can go ahead and you could talk or dictate your journal. So if some of you don't like writing, look, sometimes I'll be in the car and I'll just like, you know what, like I go to Starbucks in the morning sometimes if I'm in the mood. I think I actually shot a video on it. Well, I think I actually shared one of those with you guys a couple of weeks ago. And I'll sit there and I'll just, inside of here and just kind of dictate out. And what I like about Evernote, just me, I can put an audio file in Evernote and archive it there so I can still keep everything in one place. And I enjoy doing that. Okay. Next, one act of gratitude. So you could email a client, appreciate them, a family member, a friend, client. Just something very, hey, I appreciate you. Hey, I care about you. I love you. If it's a family member, whatever it happens to be, we do that. And then physical exercise. Like I did one act of gratitude. What was my act of gratitude this morning? What was the story? I was in Starbucks. What did I do? Dollar tip. Tell them I really appreciate you. You did a great job. Thank you. And I had a real smile on my face. And you know, I was very genuine in that. Right now, does that change the world? Not really. But did that in that moment, did I influence that other human being in a positive way? Yeah, I did. Okay. Now, physical exercise, 5 minutes. Now, 5 minutes will not make you a rock star athlete, but do some stretching. Like I like to, you know, I have one of these because I've lifted weights since I was 13 years old. I'm like wired like a spring. So stretching to me is important. So I'll get up, I'll walk, I'll stretch, get my back loose, get my hamstrings loose, and I do that for 5 minutes. Now I hit the gym in the afternoon. That's a whole other story. But 5 minutes, you can walk. If you have a dog, walk the dog. Maybe walk the cat. I don't know. Just get your blood going. I'm not asking you to go sweat. Physical exercise is just motion. Makes you move. Okay? So that is your morning 8 ritual. Now, our daily 5. Part of our day, here's our game. So what's the first thing in the daily 5? You do the 8. It's like, so I want you to think of it this way. The daily 5 is the game plan for the game. And the Magellan morning 8 is the pre-game ritual. Right? It's Sunday. It's here. It's football season here. Nobody, if you've ever gone to, I don't care if it's a high school game, college game, pro game, whatever it is, when it kick off, do you just see the athletes come running out from their cars, throw their uniforms on, and then get ready for kickoff? No, they're out there hours before and stretching, warming up, going over game plans, listening to something, getting their mind right, right? Whatever it is, kind of put themselves in the right psychology. We are no different. So you're going to have your 8-step protocol, okay, in the morning. Next, and so remember I said the word chassis? I don't know your business. So these are the numbers I would use globally, and then you adjust them for your situation. So number 2 is 10 to 15 contacts a day. So these are clients, these are prospects, these are centers of influence. Let me give you the rule around what a contact is. A contact is a unique communication piece. It is a text message to somebody. It is a personal email to somebody. It is a phone call, even if it's a voicemail to somebody. It is a face-to-face meeting. It is a phone conversation. There are basically 5 ways to trigger the contact game. 5. Some of you, also if you're sending private message like on LinkedIn or Facebook or any of that stuff, that would also be a contact. So between those tools, there's no excuse why you can't interact with at least 10 to 15 people a day. Okay? Next, 1 to 3 meetings set. So now you may do this, you may have some of your staff do it. Reviews, COIs, prospects. Okay? Your team meeting, your monthly, somebody said to me the other day, Joe, I do a daily team huddle. Does that count? No. Sorry, it does not. Okay? 3 to 5 introductions, right? I want set every day. So I want to make sure that you have, when you're doing your 10, 15 contacts, you have the referral conversation. You have the introduction conversation. So what does that look like? That looks like in your text message, hey, by the way, BTW, don't keep me a secret. That's one. You're going to review with somebody. You ask, hey, don't forget, we're always looking to help other people. That's one. Right? You're emailing somebody, right? Hey, by the way, if you run across someone else we can help, love the opportunity. That would count. You're on the phone with somebody. I don't care if they called you, you call them. Hey, thanks for, look, I'm glad we were able to help you today. Hey, by the way, we appreciate you. And if you know of someone else we can help, love the opportunity, keep us in mind. See you later. Bye. That all counts. So in the course of your day, in the course of your business day, your tactical day, you're going to have 3 to 5 conversations a day. And then the 5th is you're going to track all this. Now, you could track it on a spreadsheet. We have what we call module number 9. If you go on to Magellan Network, the workplace app, you'll find it in the files section. It is there. It is also part of our strategic planning system currently. So there's a form. I don't care how you track it. Look, I don't care if you go tick, tick. I don't care if you literally get one of these. I need to find a pen, right? Like this. Oh, I don't care if you go like this. Contact. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, introductory conversation. Yep. And then, check it off. I don't care if you do all that. And like literally give it to your assistant to put in a spreadsheet. I don't care how you get it done. Whatever works for you is going to work for me. But you got to track this stuff. You got to track it. Think about it this way. An analogy for a second. If I was a health coach, if I was a personal trainer, what would I have you track? Reps, exercise, what you put in your mouth, right? Here, this is that. This is what we track in our game. 5 things. Okay? So we have our core 4, our morning 8, our daily 5. Right? That is the Magellan Code. Now, formula real quick. So, remember I talked about expansion. Remember our goal is always being expansion. Our core philosophy inside Magellan Network is expansion. So there is a formula, and here it is. Energy plus focus equals expansion. Energy plus focus equals expansion. EFE, EFE, EFE. Energy, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, right? We talked about that. What you focus on becomes your reality. So this is why it's so important that you train. Now, how do I get you to focus? You have your own game plan, right? You have your vision. It's called a strategic plan. You do your Magellan Morning 8. That focuses you in the morning. You have your daily 5. You're going to work through it, right? You have your core 4, which is our overarching philosophy on everything, right? Focus. What do those 2 things give you? Expansion, prosperity, 10x, and 10x could be your life, your income, your bank account, your net worth. I don't care, whatever you want to 10x. Legacy and impact. Let's go over this again. EFE, EFE, energy, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And by the way, in the morning, what are we working on? We're working on your mental and emotional energy. Every morning inside that 8, we're working on your mental and emotional energy. What do you all need to do? You need to make sure you hit the gym, walk, whatever you're going to do for your body, whatever you're going to do physically to get your energy levels up. You need to do that. And your spirituality, that's your call. I don't get involved in that. I've got my own concept of spirituality, of religious belief that I practice here. Whatever works for you is fine, but have something, right? So EFE, focus, strategic plan, right? We know why we want to do it. Remember, we get out of that loop, we pivot up. We do it every morning as part of our 8. We have our game plan every day. We focus. And by the way, let me say this real quick, focus. A lot of you, that F word is really a hard one because you've got CNBC on. So I got the television on in the background for noise. No, you don't. It's feeding your brain and you don't even know it. Shut it off. Get rid of it, right? Shut down. If you're going to go and call it, get rid of some of your stuff on your screens. Close your door. Control your environment so you can focus. Daily 5. When you're playing our game, you don't have time to screw around. You know why? You're too busy being successful. You're too busy helping others. That's our game. Which leads us to the last E, which is prosperity, 10x, legacy, and helping others. EFE. Energy, focus, expansion. Okay? So, this is the code. This is our core 4. This is our morning 8. This is our daily 5. This is our EFE. This is what I am about. This is what Magellan Network is all about. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Oh, by the way, I wouldn't want to just watch this once. I'd probably watch this a couple times. And with that, thank you. Any questions, post them. Reach out to me. I'm happy to answer them for you. And have a great day.